The Jaguars have a selection in the third round with the 88th overall pick. The Jaguars select running back Tank Bigsby out of Auburn University. 6 foot, 210 pounds, 3-year starter for the Auburn Tigers. Welcome into our immediate coverage. JP Shadrick, Kai Stevens, John Oehser, Bucky Brooks coming up. Well, in a football program that has had some turmoil over the last 2 or 3 seasons, some coaching changes, some offensive changes, Tank Bigsby was really one of the constants for that team, and they handed him the football a lot. And he's got a lot of experience for this Auburn team, and now he's coming to Jacksonville, an NFL running back.
I think first impressions for me is this is going to be a crowded running back room, right? Obviously, Etienne's established himself as a force, but if there's 4 in there, like, are they all going to make the team? Are some people going to be doing special teams? I'm not super familiar with Tank, so I don't know if he does a lot of special teams, but versatility is going to be key if you want to make the squad at the end of training camp.
No doubt.
Well, a couple of thoughts. First of all, surprised that this wasn't corner. I got to think that's the next pick. Second of all, it is going to be a crowded running room. I don't think this bodes particularly well for multiple players in that room. And JP, I'll defer to you. You follow college football very closely. I think you've covered him. Tell me about Tank Bigsby.
Big, strong, physical guy, has some speed when he gets out in the open as well. Early in his career, some decision-making things in key moments, but I think he worked on that in the last year or so and developed and matured as it went along there. But in a school that has put out some running backs now, he's
Bo. You're saying he's Bo.
I'm not saying he's Bo Jackson, right? I'm not saying he's Cadillac Williams or Ronnie Brown. Those guys went to school together, by the way. But he's right up in that kind of second tier of running backs of Auburn has produced. And like I said, he was their main guy the last 3 seasons. Malzahn was sent off or left. Here comes the next coach in, Harsin. He had to go, and they had Cadillac Williams was the interim at the end of last season. So that's a lot of change, and he was the one guy when the quarterback play wasn't that great, was inconsistent. Tank was the guy. I know
we're going to Bucky here in a minute. 2 things. It shows you clearly you felt watching this team last year that Etienne, very, very good, but they needed something else consistently as a potential go-to back if he wasn't there and when he needed to come out of the game. It also keeps with the theme that we talked with Bucky, 3 straight offensive picks, another offensive skill player to add to this bunch. Boy, it feels like they've got their weapons in place now. It would be and D'Ernest Johnson, who I think is a pretty good player. They are significantly more experienced, durable. Feels like they're bigger than they were. They really needed to add something big to complement Etienne, and they certainly have done that.
All right, it's an offensive league now, Kai. You got to score some points. The Jaguars have certainly made that emphasis in the first 3 rounds. Let's go to Bucky Brooks in Los Angeles, and from a scout's perspective, what do you like about Tank Bigsby?
Big physical running back, run downhill. Gives you that physical presence that you need. And for Doug Peterson, this gives him an opportunity to have that LeGarrette Blount type back that he had during his Super Bowl years with the Philadelphia Eagles. That was the one element that was missing from the offense a season ago. You had the quickness and the wiggle from Travis Etienne and DeMichael Hasty, but you didn't have that big back that could kind of slam it up inside 4-minute situations, 2-minute drills, where now you have that. And Doug Peterson would prefer to play a running back by committee. And so now you have someone that can do the dirty work in between the tackles. And so it makes things very challenging for guys like Snoop Connor and others. Training camp would be very, very competitive. But this guy, Tank gives them something that was lacking last year in terms of a physical running back, a big running back.
Bucky, Tank's coming from Auburn where he had the majority of the carries. He was still part of a committee there, but do you think he can be very productive or functional if he's not the main guy here at running back?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's kind of what the Jaguars would like to do. They would like to have kind of a split workload. You don't want to have Travis Etienne having 25 carries, not all the time, on occasion maybe, but you want someone that can offset that. And to be honest, they're better when they're balanced and diverse, whether that's the wide receiver core or the running back unit. They want to make sure that multiple guys touch the ball, multiple guys are fresh. because it's going to allow this team to be ready to go down the stretch because everyone should be healthy and ready to rock.
As Bucky talked there, it struck me, and I think he was hitting on this as well. It takes more than one off season for a GM and a coach to build a roster the way they want it. And it strikes me that the last 2 picks get this offense much closer to what Doug Peterson really wants, meaning now you've got 2 tight ends who can catch the ball. Now you've got much more of the running back by committee that, honestly, when you watched this team last year, you didn't think they had that as an option. Boy, it's going to be intriguing. This offense was number 10 in the league last year without a true one in Calvin Ridley and without really being as balanced as Doug wants it. Bucky, you've been saying all year, 7-point jump, get them up into those 30s. Does this offense feel like that to you?
Well, it feels like your best offense can be, your best defense can be your offense, meaning they'll be able to control the tempo of the game. They can speed it up, score points, throwing it all over the yard. But when they get up, now they can run the clock out. And so Bigsby being along with Etienne and Hasty, those 3 guys being able to carry the load, it allows Doug to do a lot of different things. And remember, he likes to change his game plan each week. Some games he'll lean into the running game, other games he'll throw it primarily, but he needed to have more weaponry at his disposal to be able to be that balanced and diverse offense. This is a much different unit than we've seen last year. Should be a much improved unit, and that's saying a lot for an offense that ranked 10 in offense.
Yeah, and Bucky hit on it, and the more he talked, the more he's exactly right. If there was one time watching this offense last year, if there was one situation that you sort of held your breath, it didn't bother you when they were down by 21 or 27, felt like they could come back. But when they needed 3rd and 1 or when they needed that short yardage, if you think about it, the biggest play of the year, they went around the end.
T formation.
Didn't feel like they could go up the middle. I don't want to speak for them, but when they were thinking about going up the middle on that play, you sort of held your breath a little bit as somebody who had watched this team for a long time. Feels like they addressed that big time just now.
Certainly did. Tank Bigsby is the pick. 25 career touchdowns in 3 seasons on the Plains. Over 1,000 yards 2 seasons ago. 970 yards last year. Productive running back for the Auburn Tigers is now heading to the Jacksonville Jaguars with the 88th overall selection in the 3rd round. What a career it was for him. As we said, a lot of change there. Some coaching changes, offensive changes, quarterback changes. Never easy. And Tank was a big reason why they got the wins they did in his time at Auburn. Now, this is the time of the draft with all these picks set up on day 3, Bucky. The last little window of picks here in round number 3. If you're going to trade back up, might be the time to start making some moves, right?
Yeah, this would be the time to make moves, or what you want to do is reset, take a breath at the end of the day, and then focus on really nailing it at the top of the 4th round. Which players are there, which players somehow slip through the cracks, have a strategic plan for getting in range to do those players. But so far, look, it's been a solid draft in terms of adding the kind of weapons that you need on offense. At some point, though, we do want to get a couple of defensive players, even though I'm talking about we're going to throw it all over the yard. We need to have some guys that can get some stops.
Bucky, the Jaguars have 10 picks left. Tell me there's a guy in round 3 that's worth all those picks.
Oh, no, John. Long day for you tomorrow. No off time. You're going to have to hang in there all the way to the end, to the last pick.
Trade 10 right now.
Bucky, we appreciate it. We'll talk to you in just a little bit.
All right, man.
Bucky Brooks, NFL Network with us. Kai Stevens, John Ogier, our entire crew. I'm JP Shadrick. The Jaguars have the pick in the 3rd round. Tank Bigsby, running back out of Auburn. Our day 2 coverage is presented by Dreamfinders Homes. And there you have what's remaining, at least on the docket for tomorrow. Hey, they might not be done tonight. We'll see if Trent Baalke wants to trade back and get something done, though those picks are flying off the board pretty quickly here. There's only about 8 or so, actually less than that, remaining in the 3rd round tonight. So clock's ticking. We'll see. We will hear from Doug Peterson, Trent Baalke at the end of the round or whenever they're done picking tonight. And, of course, you can watch the draft all weekend on NFL Network, ABC, and ESPN. Our coverage today presented by Dreamfinders Homes.